How has technology changed day-to-day policing? From a guy that did not have a computer in his car, it's big. Let me tell you a quick story for you guys chime in. About 2 weeks before I retired, all I was basically doing is I was working on that ILF International Training Conference. You got a friend?
Yeah, he likes Crown apparently.
Get rid of him. Well, maybe he's not bad. Anyway, right before I retired, now keep in mind that I had spent most of my time as a lieutenant in an undercover narcotics unit, away from my agency. So we had guys coming on the job that had been there 5, 6 years that had never seen my face. I wasn't around.
Some would consider them lucky.
Anyway, I'm at one of our district substations, and I'm standing there and I'm just talking to some people, and this young deputy comes in and he slams his books and his clipboard and stuff down on the table, and he says, my in-car computer's broke, they can't get it fixed, how am I supposed to do police work? Well, everybody kind of turns and looks to the lieutenant in the room, and I didn't know this guy, but I looked at him and I said, well, let me tell you something, kid. Why don't you get in your car, go up, drive up and down the streets, especially those back alleys, and look for something suspicious. And then get out of your car and ask people questions. You know, it's called investigating.
I'll tell you what, when the computers are down in the cars, you've never heard officers ask dispatch to repeat as much as that.
You know, what happened to your gut? Remember when you, this guy doesn't look right, and so and it was perfectly okay. You didn't have to have probable cause to get out and talk to a citizen. You could do that all you wanted, but everything is now in-car computer, and I got nothing against in-car computers, but it seems like we're totally relying on them. So
yeah, you know, it isn't so much. I mean, it is, but it isn't just that though. When I left my agency, we had a laptop and MDT. We even had LPRs, license plate readers. I mean, I had no passenger compartment in my vehicle. I've got all this crap over there. I know that I'm going to burst into flames if I get into an accident because the car is electrified. But even on the use of force side, you know, there isn't anything that we do that isn't covered on camera now, good, bad, or otherwise. And we've also got this reliance, not to everybody, but we've talked about this before, on all our less lethal devices that allow us to have proximity. And you know, in many departments, the people that gravitate to those are less likely to use force, a little bit more timid. A lot of them are new hires. They're not the most tactically inclined. And we have evidence caught on camera out of California recently of the deputy or the officer that has a taser failure, then gets chased, 300 yards down the street, hit in the head. The bad guy steals the officer's car, then gets out, gets in his car, then almost hits the deputy with his car, and still the deputy still fails to take action. And it's like,
over-reliance on technology without a plan B.
And this is one of my pet peeves. Have you ever noticed that pepper spray and tasers seem to work better on cops in training than they do suspects on the street?
And that's a great point. You know why?
And they expect it to be exactly the same way as they felt.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, in the academy class before mine was a bunch of tough Marines, and I saw them crying like babies when they got pepper sprayed. So what does that do to me? This is gonna suck. And you already go into it thinking it's gonna incapacitate you, and guess what? It does. But no one told the crook who's trying to kill you that he's supposed to go down on the ground and grab his face and everything else when he's pepper sprayed.
Or the Hispanic suspect that grew up on hot peppers.
well, I use this as an example. I'll ask in class, you know, how many people in class have been pepper sprayed and how many have been tased? In the overwhelming response, if I offer to do one or the other, everybody wants to be tased because usually when the clicking stops, the pain stops. But I'll ask them, I said, so when it happened to you, somebody, much like myself, a sadistic DT instructor, had you doing something so it was a perfect application, eyes, nose, mouth wide open. I even got you to ingest some, because that's the added bonus. If I can get you to burp it up, I know I got it going on. I said, how many of you have actually used pepper spray and gotten more on yourself putting cuffs on somebody than you ever got in your face? Everyone. Yeah. Because we're the only people that will stand still voluntarily to get sprayed in the face with pepper spray or tased.
Everybody else covers up.
They move around, they bounce around. It's like, so, and people get shocked. I tell you, I'm not trying to date myself, but there was a time when we had to lay our hands on everybody that we took to jail. And they're like, no way.
Did you interrupt Wes? He was having a great thought, and you did it on purpose, didn't you? Because he was looking smarter than you.
That was a good transition.
Okay, good job. Thank you, sir. That's fine. Thank you. You're absolutely right, man. You're right on point, and you're not dating yourself because I'm 10 years older than you are. So I get it.
Well, you were talking earlier about the big flashlights. I got a box full of those big flashlights.
You had a flashlight the size of a tailpipe.
I have a Bianchi V-light, and I have a Kell light.
The only thing it was good for was the old El Kabong, and many of the viewers aren't going to remember the cartoon character El Kabong, but that was what it's called. You boom, you hit him like that, because they didn't have the lighting power of a key ring
They're
light.
battery-operated batons.
You want to talk about technological advancements, talk about a flashlight. Unbelievable how bright you can get a tiny little
There's
tactical
very
light
few
now.
days that go by that I don't thank John Matthews for existing and coming up with the 6P. I was at the Detroit IACP, I want to say about 1993, when Laser Products was there with just a table and a logo covered tarp over it.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows me a 6P light. And you would have think he just gave me a beacon.
Oh, it was the Holy Grail.
Oh, God. What was it, like 60, 65 lumens?
65 lumens of incandescent yellow light.
Oh, my
It was gorgeous.
God, it was just awesome.
I had a picture in one of the classes, because I had some old buddies that were in the class, and it was a picture of me in our TAC uniform at the time with my prized MP5 that I had to sell to somebody else with a mag light, you know, hose clamped.
Hose clamp.
Nice. Hose clamped to my
Plumbing
gun.
hose clamps, yeah.
That's better than duct tape.
And we stole
than
those
duct
from
tape.
the SAS pictures at Princess Gate. You
Absolutely.
know?
Well,
Yeah,
I had Phil Singleton as my MP5 operator.
There you go.
So, yeah.
There you go.
He's
Yeah.
pretty skilled with that MP5.
Yeah.
He can write
No,
his name in cursive.
I still like that. Nothing against the AR-15, but I still, because you guys know I worked at HK's training division for a short period of time. And that roller block action, I still like it. And I'm going to tell you what, if somebody would say, give me the carbine of my choice, it'd be an HK-53.
Yeah.
It really would. Of course, I can buy a house cheaper than I can buy an HK-53 now. But yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Technologies, like everything else, it's good and bad.
It's bad because officers are distracted like they've never been before, and they're crashing into other people because they're looking at the damn computer.
Yeah, and they're
or
out
their
giving
phone.
tickets to people who are on their phones.
Well,
Yeah,
and we're also working against ourselves, because as technology begins to increase and public liability and scrutiny begins to increase, there are bodies and agencies that are looking to heighten that technology side because they see it as the saving grace. I just had a southeastern agency that had been volunteered by their city, a large agency, to this new weapon/body camera system that, one, the charging unit that was in the gun looked just like the magazine of the gun, which
Great.
I can now see officers going to work with a battery instead of a live magazine. And the second was, when it came out of the holster, it would activate not just your camera, but everybody's camera within the FCC operating distance. So you'd have and you weren't recording it, it was recorded to a PC that some lieutenant or captain was watching.
Wow.
And so everybody's camera came on, so if you got a partner 2 blocks over doing something else, he's being watched. You got one having a fight with his wife on a cell phone, he's being watched, you're being watched, everybody's being watched, and all the information's being recorded.
Wow.
And they thought this was a great idea.
What could possibly go wrong with that?
Yeah, no doubt.
I got
So
nothing.
I think what we've decided is technology sucks. So go on.
You know what? Not
Back to black and
necessarily.
white TVs.
The problem is
And
we have
8-tracks.
so much technology that doesn't really solve a problem that we've got.
But
But
it
somebody's
is-
trying to make some money.
But it sure is easy to look at the map on the computer in the car and it tells you exactly how to get somewhere. I mean, and also when dispatch will know where you're at, the GPS stuff has saved
Do you remember
officers'
map
lives.
books?
Guaranteed.
Yeah, you had one.
Yeah,
But
everybody
you know
had a
what?
map
You
book.
knew your beat.
Oh yeah, you
You
did.
knew your beat.